Hey gang, Carl White here, and you have lucked upon by the grace of God above, the number one podcast in the world today for loan officers. And it is I who is blessed to have you here. That sounds pretty good, right, Steve? That
That
sounds pretty
sounded
cool.
great, man. I'm
That's
over
it.
here loving it. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Where are we
So
going?
see, I just finished listening to A Knight's Tale and that
Ah,
that movie, which I love, and the announcer who's always announcing him for jousting is
yeah.
just brilliant. So if you've never watched A Knight's Tale, go watch that movie. And the announcer, the guy that introduces him, is just whoever wrote that script is just absolutely brilliant. But anyway, great to have you here. So we're going to jump right into this. So welcome to the Loan Officer Freedom Podcast. And man, what a great name for a podcast for this particular episode. So if you're wanting to know how do I get back to my 2021 volume levels and actually beat the boom? Don't just go back to that, but
Outperform it. Yeah.
outperform the boom. What we're going to talk about is how to get yourself out of the weeds and focusing in on that number one thing that makes you most your money. So, Steve, it never see. And by the way, so my co-host today is the ever so lovely, talented Mr. Steve Kiles out of Houston, Texas. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great, brother. It is
Yeah,
always good to connect and mastermind and share things that are working, man.
it is. And so I love this. This is without question my favorite topic of all time. Is when I go around the country uh, doing talks to mortgage companies, that I love doing these, by the way, but I get invited to a lot of companies. They have sales events and
Yeah.
state associations. They want somebody to come in and, help map out how to close more loans, right? I mean, that's what we do. And so I always enjoy doing that. Well, one question, and anybody's been to my event, no, I ask this question 100% of the time. What's the number one thing you do that makes you most your money? Like what
Mm,
one single activity that you personally do that makes you most your money? Right. And then I ask question two, how many hours, minutes, if any, did you spend doing that very activity last week?
yeah.
So two things happen. Number one, when I ask what's the number one thing that makes you most your money, most people have to think about that for a little bit, which
Mm-hmm.
is a little concerning
Mm-hmm.
because it means that we have not thought about, gee, what's the one thing I should be doing that makes me most my money? Like if
Yeah.
we was to ask Tom Brady that question, he'd say throwing a ball.
That's it.
Right? If
That's
we just
it.
ask the field goal kicker, he says kicking the
Kicking the
ball.
ball. That's
Yeah,
it.
it's not anything else. It's kicking the ball. Number one thing makes him most his money and the
Yeah.
team the most money is kicking the ball. So we should have a very clear picture of what is the activity as a loan officer that brings in most of my leads for me to close those leads. And it's not answering the phone because something had to happen for the phone to ring in the first
Yeah.
place
Yeah.
for us to answer it. What was that? All right. So then the second part of that question is how many hours, minutes, if any, did you spend doing that activity? And the average answer is zero. I spent,
Unbelievable.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Hey.
I get it. Like it's
Yeah.
not their
Yeah.
fault, and we're going to explain. We got a solution for you here in just a second. It's not your fault.
That's right.
So I spent 0 hours doing the number one activity that makes me most of my money last week, and then the final part of that three-part question: what was the obstacle or roadblock that kept you doing that number one activity last week?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is always,
Yep.
I was in the weeds. I'm putting out
Mhm.
fires. I'm chasing conditions. I'm trying to save the two deals that I have. And who could blame them, right? I mean,
Yep.
because you did all that work to bring the deal in. My God, we want to close those deals, right? So,
Yep.
of course, we need to focus some time on making sure the deals close because if we bring in deals and they never close, well, we never make any money.
Mm-hmm.
So, what we're going to talk about, Steve, and that was my monologue for the day.
I love
But
it.
what we're going to talk about is getting a loan partner or a loan officer assistant, even if my volume isn't super high.
Yep.
We're going to talk about the loan partner. What do they do? How do they get paid? And what if my volume's not that high? When does it make sense? So is it okay if I just and you're way too humble, right? Yeah, I'm being serious here. You're way too humble for like I was going to send you, hey man, record a podcast on this, and I thought, no, the dude's too humble. So so you run one of the best branches in the nation, one of the most efficient loan officers, the happiest. I mean, I literally have learned so much from you in the last handful of years that we've been working together. For my own, we're in two different branches, right? You're a producing branch manager. I'm a non-producing branch manager. So we don't, officially work together. I mean, we share ideas, but we don't actually work together, right? It's different. Yours is different than mine. And I'm just being perfectly honest. Yours is I'm a bit envious of how, I'm being serious, of how well yours runs. And so I'd like to ask you a couple questions here as part of this podcast. That was a long setup, and maybe we'll edit 30 minutes of that out. But so first question: what do I, as a loan officer, do? And we're doing this so people can swipe this and implement themselves, right?
Correct.
So, Steve, I join your branch. Hypothetically, I come into your branch, or I come and sit and watch your branch a day. So yeah. I not and you don't do this. This is not available. We're not making a pitch here, but I write you a check for $5,000, and I say, hey man, I want to sit and watch what you guys do for a day or a couple of days or something like that. And again, you don't do that. We're not setting it up for this, but let's say you did. What would I see? I just paid you $5,000 to sit there for 8 hours and watch what you do. Yeah. What is the loan officer doing, and what is a loan partner doing? Walk me through that.
Hey, and really, really simple. When you just said that, I really thought about it. It's this simple: loan officer sell, operations team supports. If you summed it up in one word on each side. Yeah. So a loan officer is focusing on the daily success plan. And here's what we want to do is this. Whether you're closing $1 million or less, or you're closing $1 million to $3 million, or $3 to $5 million, or $5 to $7.5 million, or $10 million more per month. Yeah. What happens is it's the sales activity that brings in the volume. And so that's following the DSP, the daily success plan. Every single day, we've got a plan of who you're calling. So the loan officers are making the outbound calls. They're building relationships. They're asking for the business. And what happens is, as loan officers are doing the sales activity, and you'll find it's what they love to do. It's what they're the best at. It's what makes them come alive. Loan officers, as a rule of thumb, I mean, not everyone, but they're not looking to chase conditions and not looking to do the detail work. They're into the relationship sales activity. And so what we do is we really help the loan officer find what are they really good at, what brought in the last 10 deals, and what's the obstacle that could be removed. The number one obstacle tends to be, I don't have competent sales support. So what that means is, hey, I'm closing $1 million a month in volume. And what's happening is I'm turning in a file into operations, but I'm still in the middle of those files. Like, I'm chasing conditions. I'm talking to title. I'm checking on the appraisal. I'm doing the busy work. So here's what happens, Carl. A loan officer gets to about $750,000, $1 million a month. And then they have a breakthrough. They get to $1.5 million a month, but now they've got to go do all of this busy work. So next month it goes from $1.5 million to $1 million. To the third month, they goose egg it and they got to ramp it back up again. So what we do is
to repeat the process over and over.
It's the roller coaster. It's the craziness. Yeah. So what happens is when you're at $1 million, $1.5 million, you need a competent back-end loan partner. So here's what we've done, Carl. The back-end help support from contract to close is called a loan partner. We call the front end help and support a pre-approval specialist to differentiate the two. The pre-approval specialist happens when I break through to that $1 million month. Here's what I know. You're closing about 4 to 6 units a month. And Carl, you can't close 4 to 6, 7, and get to 8 units a month without having that same kind of help on the front end, a pre-approval specialist now doing the busy work, the setting up the loan consultation, chasing the bank statement, chasing the pay stubs, sending out the pre-approval letter.
And this is all prior to the contract coming in.
That's it, all prior to the contract. So what happens is, if you're listening today and you say, man, I'm doing about $1 million, or doing $500,000, I'm looking to ramp up to about $1 million. The key is you need great, competent back-end support, a back-end loan partner. And here's what they do. A back-end loan partner, and typically at about $1 million, $1.5 million, or even in that range, they're shared. So it's typically not dedicated resources till you get above 3 million where your P&L supports it. But you've got a competent shared back-end support. And Carl, here's what they do. Their job is to keep you out of the files. When you hand off your loan and you send in your lock-in notes and all of that goes to the back end. The back end takes it contract to close. They chase conditions. They communicate with buyers. They're doing the Just Ask Tuesday update with both buyers on every transaction to make sure the buyers are updated. They're scheduling title. They're doing all the busy work. The only time a file should come back to you would be if it doesn't credit qualify, like you had variable income and you didn't realize it. You got to find solutions to qualifying issues that came up in underwriting, or if their pricing changes, because when you talk money, let's say an appraisal came in low, it affected the loan to value. The loan officer needs to have the money call. The loan officer needs to restructure if it came in because the file got suspended in underwriting. Those are the only two reasons a loan officer would ever get involved contract to close, because what you want to do is stay focused on the money-making activity. Now, here's what happens is, when you're doing the DSP and I'm ramping up, Carl, I'm out there, I'm making my Thor's hammer calls, I'm talking to agents, I'm meeting new qualified agents. My lead count starts going up. I start closing $1.5 million a month. Now you need a shared pre-approval specialist, because look, I'm sitting here at about 5 units this month in my pipeline that are closing. Well, the only way to not go backwards and to accelerate is not 90 days later, but as the growth is happening and you fund your first $1.5 million, because that's what helps pay for your new help. I've got a shared front end pre-approval specialist. And here's what they're doing, Carl. The loan officer goes and builds the relationship. They get the lead, they get them referred. My job on the first call is to have a loyalty uplift, get them to complete the app and schedule the loan consultation. When that client hits the application and they start or complete an initial online app, that pre-approval specialist is pulling that deal forward. They're making the call, they're going through the details, they're chasing the documents, they're making sure your loan consultation is set up. Once the loan officer has the loan consultation, they go back through the detail work and get the pre-approval out to all parties. Then when the contract comes in, they're the ones setting up the contract for the loan officer to have the lock-in call. And of course, the loan officer is doing the pre-approved and looking call. So it's like, if it's money-making activity, which is relationships with agents, I'm doing the initial call, I'm doing the loan consult, I'm doing the pre-approved and looking, and I'm doing the lock-in call. The pre-approval specialist does everything in between. And then once you hit 8 to 10 units a month, guess what? You start doing less of that, because now I got a dedicated pre-approval specialist, and now they're doing even more of that. And I'm focused on money-making activities, which are relationships, leveraged events, leading my team. And so you're able to have these competent sales support help you. The pre-approval specialist begins to do more. The back-end partner continues to deliver. Hey, one thing I want to say before I forget is this, like even on the back end, you hire a back-end loan partner. Here's how we measure it in the branch. If you have too many metrics, it gets messy. Carl, we hire, we promote, we top grade, we do whatever it takes based on these 4 things. On the back end, a back-end loan partner should submit loans in 72 hours of lock disclosure. On loan underwriting approvals, they should have 5 or less buyer conditions, which speaks to the cleanliness of a file. On loans going to closing, files 95% of the time should be clear to close 3 days prior to closing. You're going to have the one-off and appraisal delay, but 95% of the time, these loans need to be clear to close 3 days prior to closing. And the final metric we measure all back-end loan partners by is you have to do your Just Ask Tuesday updates every Tuesday before noon with both buyers on every transaction. And I really feel like that the simple—
Wait. Explain. Give me a 30-second explanation of what the Tuesday update that they have to do, but before noon on Tuesday. What is that activity again?
Yeah. So what we do in the marketing annals, we talk about our Just Ask Tuesday update. Well, we have our back end loan partners do the Just Ask Tuesday updates, because they know the most information about the file, and they're—
Tell me what a Just Ask Tuesday update
Well, that's
is.
what I was about to say. They're giving an update, but really cloaked inside of that update, they're asking for the business. And that's why we call it a Just Ask Tuesday update, is because their sole responsibility on those calls before noon with both buyers on every transaction that they're a loan partner on is to close with our 3x3. Hey, Carl, hey, let me ask you a quick question. Can I count on you that when you have a friend, family, coworker looking to buy, sell, or refinance, that you'd give us their information so we could help another great family just like you? And so they're closing for the commitment, closing for even more business, and they're giving the Tuesday update, which also, it does a couple of things. We're asking for business, we're getting leads, And it's also preventing any of the additional calls. Like they'll call in and say, hey, where are we at in underwriting? Where are we at in the appraisal? Where are we at in this? Those proactive outbound calls that they're doing on Tuesday as a back-end loan partner is offsetting all of those questions, phone calls, and concerns. And we're doing the top 3 things agents really are frustrated with. They say you don't close on time. Well, we do. We're clear to close 3 days prior to, and our loan partners are measured on it. You don't communicate. Nope, we do that too. The loan partner does the Just Ask Tuesday update to the buyers on Tuesday. Me as the loan officer, I do both agents. I do title and insurance. And so we're communicating. Hey, and you don't follow up? Nope, we follow up. That's part of our process in moving these loans through and ensuring that they're clean, smooth, and flawless closings. So I think it addresses all of that, but your back-end loan partner is helping you on the back end. Your front-end pre-approval specialist does the similar task, but up through a contract and handing off a lock disclosure.
What do you say, Steve, to the person that, hey, shouldn't I be talking to all these people? Like, shouldn't I be the one talking to the borrower all the time, asking for the bank statements? Shouldn't I be the one that's calling and updating where the files are at? Isn't it me that they want to hear from?
You know what? I have a couple of thoughts that just raced through. I thought you'll find that your loan partners are actually better because they know more of the detail of the file.
Yeah.
And they'll get a better result than you. And if you're making all of those calls or you're doing what they should be doing, the challenge is you're not doing the high payoff activity. It's kind of like this. You can stay focused in making copies, or you can be the one out there that is actually selling the copy machines and making the money. And I think we forget that loan officers who are chasing conditions, loan officers who are doing the busy work are doing $20, $25 an hour job when a loan officer income potential is hundreds of dollars an hour.
Yeah.
So it goes back to, look, and Carl, here's a real challenge that people have to work through is, hey, if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. Nope. If you want it done right, hire the right person with clear expectations and accountability. You hire the right person. You taught me this, last year in scaling this branch. Look, you gave me a lot of credit with the branch. I'll tell you this, your branch is one of the large, I would say on one hand, maybe two, and I doubt two, probably one hand, the largest branch in the United States, the most effective, the most successful. All I've done is followed your blueprint and been able, like even
made
last
it better.
Year, yeah,
well, it made it better.
Well, but that we make each other better. Because look, last year, you remember me? I was holding on to every person. I'm like, loyalty. We've got here together. We got to stay. And you taught me loyalty has an expiration date. It's got a shelf life because look, we give opportunities, not jobs. And if I got a loan partner that's not willing to submit loans in 72 hours, make sure their files are so clean, there's 5 or less buyer conditions, and they're not working back with a 3-day clear to close on every file and doing Just Ask Tuesday update, you're not helping me as a loan officer go sell and get more. What is the number one indicator you're going to keep your job? More loans, not clearing conditions. And so one of our core values is together we win. We have 3 of them. In our branch, it's together we win. The back end wins when the front end wins. Front end wins when the back end wins. Here's another one, extreme ownership. That means we get it done. The last one is results, no excuses. And the results are this: that realtor, that buyer has hired us to give them a clear, a smooth, a flawless closing and ensure that they're able to buy that house. The agent has hired us to ensure that we protect their commission. And it's just, there's a real responsibility to that. And it cannot be loyal to the loan partner that refuses to continue to move. You just have to say, look, it's available, not here. I love you. I appreciate you. Here's the 4 metrics on the back end, the front end. They've got to be doing their service level agreement as they're reaching out within 2 hours. They're setting up loan consultations at the scheduled loan consultation appointed time, and they're doing lock handoffs within 24 hours. Like they have metrics too. And it's like, we've got to make sure we're delivering on the metrics so that we can produce the right result. Look, and in doing that, the loan officer achieves a life of freedom. That's how you live out of the chaos. And if you say you got to do it It's the only way it's done right is if I do it myself. I want to challenge you. You'll be limited in what you can do, and you'll be frustrated the rest of your career. Trust people, trust process, and lean in, because when you have the right people, the right process, it will produce the right result. Not that I have a rock star loan partner. The process they're doing with accountability produces the right result.
You know, I found out pretty early in my career when I thought everybody wanted to speak with Carl.
They
Come
don't.
to find out, yeah, they don't. They don't.
They want money.
That's it. That's brother. That's the punchline.
I learned that from you. They don't want to talk to me. They just want their money.
They wanted to close on time, and they don't care if they talk to Bob, Sue, Harry, Jill, or Carl.
Yep.
If when I have a question, do I get a right answer?
That's it.
And are you going to close me on time?
Yep.
And with a smooth and flawless closing.
That's it.
And that's all they want to. That's like if I was to tell everybody, hey, I've got the winning numbers to the lottery ticket right this Saturday night. And if you'll call Dinah in my office, she'll give it to you. There's going to be 0 people. Nope, I only get that number from Carl. Right? They're going, dude, she's got the number. Yeah, I swear to God,
give me her number.
She has the winning number. There's going to be 0 people say, well, no, I'll wait and get that number from Carl. No, they just want the number.
Yeah.
Right. And this is the same. They just want to close on time. They don't care. They just want to know that they're talking to a knowledgeable person that can actually make things happen. And when you hire people and empower them and they're knowledgeable and they actually take action and they get the actual answers that they're asking for, they don't want to hit my voicemail. They want an answer right now.
Yeah.
The last thing somebody that when they call Carl, go, gee, I hope I get his voicemail so he can call me back. Right? No, they just want, hey man, did the inspection go okay? Right? Did the termite inspection go okay? Yeah. Hey, that issue that you were having with the title, did they get that cleaned up?
That's right.
They don't care who they get the answer from. Mm-hmm. Hell, you look at Quicken, number 1 lender in the world as far as volume goes. The odds of you talking to the same person, you call them there 2 times in a row, is 0.
Yep.
Right. I would imagine, right. It's 0. And somehow they pull off number 1. How do they do that? Apparently by giving great answers very rapidly, smooth and apparently flawlessly. Right. I mean, maybe I don't know. I've never gotten a loan there, but they didn't become number 1 by having a cool name. I can tell you that.
Yep.
You know, they became number 1 by not making people wait.
Yes.
That's how they became number 1. So,
hey, Carl, you know, one thing, even as you're talking right now, one of the things, and this has been the greatest lesson, I would say, if you say there's probably top 3, this is a top 3 lesson, is this: your vision should be bigger than loyalty to the people that help. Like, I don't mean this negatively, and I don't mean this, hear my heart on this. We are loyal people. We are endeared people. But I think sometimes we end up, we don't quite hit the potential that you know's on the inside of you because you keep holding on. You keep saying, man, I'm having a challenge with my loan partner. Hey, they're not buying into the vision of what we're doing. I just don't, you know what? I guess I'm going to have to just say,
but it's my fault. I didn't train them enough.
Yeah. 100%. I didn't train them. It's my fault. They trusted me. They've joined the journey. Now their livelihood's at stake. And I would tell you all of those are valid, but I do want to challenge you. I keep hearing that phrase that you taught me last year. It's I choose. Look, here's what I really believe. When you cast the vision and then you say, hey, here's why we have these 4 metrics on the back end. You've been amazing. We wouldn't be where we are without you today. But moving forward, I'm learning I reserve the right to get better, as does everyone. And what I'm learning is if I can hold our team accountable to these 4 metrics, it's going to help us do even more volume, which gives us job security of knowing, man, we got a job, we're thriving, we're winning, and leading them to the why of these 4 metrics. That what happens is either they'll buy in or they won't. And if they won't, it's okay. I always tell people this: look, there's on ramps and off ramps. We're going to celebrate the time you're here, but if it's time for an off ramp, I will help you get a job anywhere you want to go. But we got to have people that are hitting the 4 metrics so that our teams, our loan officers, have the sales confidence to go get more deals. Getting the deals is the number 1 name of the game. Anybody, like our processes have to be so strong that they are flawless through the process. So I think you just have to be okay and say, look, either I choose to stay with somebody that is going to keep me limited in my potential and achieving my goals and hitting my whys and putting my kids through private school and putting my kids through college and paying off that debt and going on the vacation. I choose, and it's okay. Or you can say, you know what? I'm going to get with my branch manager. I'm going to get with my team and really help them see what we're learning here and how that we can really make it better, and lean in, have them help you. You know, Carl, listen, in my branch, you don't even have to, as a loan officer, hire the people. We hire them. We run them through the disc. We've already got a bench on the back-end loan partners. We're right now hiring another pre-approval specialist. Our loan officers don't have to hire it. Why? Because I know if I'm helping them by hiring, by training, by holding accountable, by doing the work, guess what they get to go do? Athena gets to go get more deals. Mike gets to go get more deals. Kathy gets to get more deals. Sarah Cox, Sarah Johnson, they're all going to get more deals because they're not in the busy work of it. And I'm telling you, your branch manager wants to see you thrive. They want to help you win. Share some of these ideas with them. And I would lean in because they're there to help you. And of course, you're where you're at. That's okay. It's not your fault. There is help and you can do it. Just don't be limited because that's the way they've always done it with my loan partner. Man, let's find some people that want to do it the way that helps you win and get more deals.
Man, that's some good stuff, buddy. I think, we are who we surround ourselves with, and we just have to keep upping our game on that. And the right people, dude. I think of my, I've really had some amazing and have some amazing people on the team, and I almost hate calling them a team because to me, they're much more than that, right? They're really they're part of my life, and I'm honored to be a part of theirs. But I think of my Diane. Yeah. We've been working together for 22 years now, 22 years. And she came in answering my phones, the receptionist. And the lady pretty much runs a company these days, right? I mean, just amazing. The part that she does is so, and I've got one person that works on this part and one that works on that. So the part she works on, which is a huge part of it, primarily the marketing department, and the traffic department, which is marketing. She's an absolute genius on that stuff. But she grew with me, and I grew with her, right? And we grew with other people, and other people grew with us. But she was the first, right? And so I gave her the opportunity, and man, that lady sees the opportunity. She was a great receptionist. Like when she answered that phone, she was amazing. She then became a loan processor. Absolutely amazing loan processor. She morphed into what we'd call a loan manager today, which was a processor that was also my loan partner. Amazing at that. And then when we started doing some of the training stuff over here with the mortgage marketing animals, in addition to, I'm an active branch manager. In addition to that, she started helping me with the traffic and the marketing of the training company. And so here you have this person. I haven't kept her on the team because of loyalty. I've kept her on the team because she earned the spot day after day, week after week, year after year, just like my first string quarterback. Right. And so she has continuously, stepped up her game, which has made me step up my game to keep up with her, right? Just being perfectly transparent. And it's that iron sharpening iron that you and I talk about, that you and I do. So she hasn't grown with my business because of my loyalty to her, or frankly, her loyalty to me either. Right. I've had to step up my game to keep up with her, and she's had to step up her game to keep up with me. It's this, I call it the stairway, the stairway of coolness. Right. That it just keeps going up and up and up because we challenge each other. And so it's not out of loyalty, it's because she's amazing. And so you have got to surround yourself with amazing people. And let me tell you, and I'm going to end this on maybe not this would be a whole nother episode, but I have to mention this, that one thing we have to be very careful of as loan officers is that you might be an amazing salesperson. That does not make you an amazing manager. And it might be that you need help on creating this, we call it the pit crew, Like you might be an amazing, amazing driver, but it's a complete different set of talents of the manager of the pit crew.
Yeah.
So like in my case, I'm really good at what I do. I'm not the greatest like HR kind of person, right? It's not one of my strong points. And so I've got somebody else that helps me with that part that's way better at that than I am. But I'm really good at training the loan officers on how to ramping it up. And Steve, where I see you at is you're one of those freak of natures that we don't see often, where you're an amazing salesperson. And dude, you get what I would call somewhat average people.
Yeah.
And make them great. Like
they do extraordinary results. Yeah.
It's unbelievable what you do with that. And so I just want to caution people. It might be that you can create your own pit crew, and it might be that you need to plug into somebody that's already got a pit crew already there. And all you do is jump in the race car and start doing laps and challenging your branch manager, your division manager, or your owner or whatever. If you find that you're not the greatest pit crew manager, you're in good company. I'm telling you that right now. Yeah. Find somebody that is and plug them into your team, or get your division manager to hire that person, or go find a place wherever that is. So you got to be careful on this. You got to be careful that you're a great salesperson and a great manager. Is I'm not saying it's impossible because you've proven that. It's not likely though. So I'm just going to kind of end that. I know that's a horrible place to end it. But you got to really be careful on this thing that you don't get bogged down, that you're spending all your time with HR. I'm not chasing the conditions, but I'm spending all my time managing my people. I'm still not going out and getting more loans.
That's it.
Same problem. So just like I have loan partners that help me chase conditions.
Yep.
I've got a manager that helps me manage the help. And I know you do too, so that you and your loan officers can go get more loans. Time it would spend to build that team. Hell, it's taken you years to build this team.
Yeah.
You don't want to make you want to plug into a team
and do
that's already going, or a branch. Yeah. Maybe it's a combining, like if you're working over at, I don't know, whatever, mortgage branch of America, and there's 20 different branches, maybe you and another branch manager kind of join forces and you plug into their team or something. So anyway, just some ideas. That's a whole nother episode. Maybe I should have left it off, but I could see people getting bogged down. I guess I need to go learn how to hire people and be a great manager of loan partners. That may or may not be something that'd be a good use of your time. For me, it's not a good use of my time because I suck at it. For you, Steve, it's a very good use of your time because you're way better at, and I know you're going to be humble and say, well, not really, but you and I both know you're way better at that than I am. So make sure you're plugging into something that's already in place. You don't want to create this. You want to either A, take what you already have and make it better, or B, find another branch in your current company that maybe you guys could join forces in some way, shape, or another. So I don't know. Maybe I'm off on that, but
I love it. That's right.
I felt like, and we might edit that part out because I don't want it to sound uncool or anything. But do not get bogged down in the weeds of trying to build a team.
Hey, it's the difference in years. Like literally, it could take you 5-10 years to figure out what's already, like, plug into somebody that's already figured it out.
3
months. Yeah,
guaranteed 3 years for sure.
Sure.
Because understand, we have this saying: we're not building tents, we're building castles.
That's it.
It takes time to build a castle, right? This is not in 90 days I'll have your castle going. No, you won't.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't work that way. I build castles. You build castles. We see people that build castles. You don't build castles in 90 days.
It's years.
It's years.
That's right.
It's years. So cool. Hey, we covered this one.
Man, I thought it was great. It was a great, and that was a great question that came out of Loan Officer Breakfast Club. I just love that. So, man, this is good stuff. Hey, and if somebody wants to know more and say, I love some of the strategy and structure, book into a call. Where do you want them to go, Carl?
I'm just being perfectly transparent. Let's book them into yours because, again,
freedomplanningcall.com. Go to freedomplanningcall.com. And we've got a great team. We'll literally give you the structure we just talked about. 45 minutes. We'll share with you what our back-end loan partners are doing and the front-end pre-approval specialists. We'd love to help you here at the Marketing Animals. So anything we can do, let us know. freedomplanningcall.com. That's it.
What does there say? So awesome stuff. All right, guys. Hey, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. Yeah, don't you be see ya on my show. So I'll see you, buddy. Hey, thanks, guys. We appreciate you. So click on the link, Thanks for the reviews. Thanks for forwarding this to your loan officer friends.
freedomplanningcall.com.
That's where you want to go, freedomplanningcall.com. So thanks again, everybody. Bye-bye.